We're going to rank photography niches from most profitable to least profitable. I have my tier list here. Let's get started. I'm ranking these on 3 different criteria. Number 1 is profitability, but when I say that, what I really mean is customer lifetime value. And that's basically exactly what it sounds like. It is over the span of a customer's lifetime, how much are they going to pay you? Another way you can think about this is what are the recurring revenue opportunities or the chances that that client is going to come back from you and buy something again. That's what customer lifetime value is. The second the second thing we're looking at is energetic profit. So your time and energy of the time that you put into it to get good at it and to serve those clients. What kind of return on investment are you getting? I think it was here. Number 3 is the AI risk. How at risk is this photography niche of becoming kaput? To be a tiebreaker, I'm also inserting my personal preference because you can make money doing anything in photography, okay? Except for what's gonna land an F, but we need some kind of tiebreaker. So number 4, the bonus, is what do I actually like doing and why? Of course, we have to start with brand photography, and this for me is S tier. So why is brand photography an S tier? Let's start with the first thing, profitability or customer lifetime value. Brand photography is just you delivering marketing assets in the form of photos to a potential client. They are then going to use these photos to market their business, which means these photos generate an ROI, a return on investment for your clients. And when your clients see an ROI, they are going to book with you again. A lot of my brand photography clients have been repeat clients in several ways. I have offered a quarterly package in the past. I've offered a 3 photo shoot bundle, which is really great for real estate agents and people who are consistently putting content out there. People come back to me every year, every other year, because they need refreshed photos. Their hair changes, the direction of their business changes. It is a huge, huge, huge opportunity for ongoing revenue and for increasing that customer lifetime value. Businesses need content to survive and to market themselves, and that is only going to become increasingly more true as time goes on. And not only that, there's the recurring revenue part, but there's also the add-on part. If you are a multi-passionate photographer with lots of different skills, what else can you do to add value to your client? You can add on video, very easy, very natural add-on. I do that for my own clients. If you are good at websites, you're savvy with websites, you could add on website help. Let's implement your photos onto your new website. If you like social media, if you like content creation, let's add on a social and content creation package. There is so much that you can do. You also don't have to do it all yourself. Bring on a videographer, bring on a hair and makeup artist, bring on a copywriter or social media manager that you can partner with to increase the customer lifetime value. Number 2, how is brand photography in terms of time and energy? Amazing, because brand photography sessions usually happen on weekdays. Who are you working with? Business owners. Their 9 to 5 is their business, so they're going to want to book their brand session during business hours. You don't have to rely on golden hour to get the look you're going for, because a lot of the times the brand sessions will happen indoors anyway. You are working in a studio, you are working in their office. It makes sense to do it during the day and not to do like a late evening if it's in the summer, early morning shoot to capture golden hour. Brand photography is also pretty low stress. You have time, you're not rushing around. There's time for you to move stuff around to get the shot. You're not chasing after a schedule or a timeline because you, as the brand photographer, are in control of the timeline. Build in buffer time, build in time to set up your lights, build in time to get the shots. It's so relaxed and it's so fun. Now, how is brand photography with AI risk? I can already hear you in the comments because I get this question a lot. I understand where you're coming from. I understand brand photography feels very risky because, oh, aren't people just going to generate their own headshots? Aren't people just going to generate their own stock photos? Yes, and also there are people and business owners that seek and experience. I am a brand photographer. I do not just deliver brand photos. I deliver an experience. So yes, if you're just a brand photographer that pushes the button, that is at risk of AI. Somebody can just go generate a picture with AI. But if you provide an experience, if you give added value and not just the photos, you're gonna be fine because you're marketing an experience. It's not just the pictures. When my clients come to me for brand photography, yes, obviously the first thing that they want are the photos, but what they don't realize is they're also getting a confidence boost, a transformation. They're seeing themselves and their business in a new light and in a new level. And that is the challenge as we move forward with all of the niches, no matter what you're doing. The challenge of photographers now is learning how to market yourself and learning how to talk about your photos so that it's not just the beautiful photos. It is the added value that you are delivering. What else They get the brand photos so that they can what? That's what we're talking about. And I'll talk more about it when we get into the other niches, but that is going to be the case no matter what photography niche you are in. And because brand photography is my bread and butter, it is definitely an S tier in terms of personal preference. I know I have just thrown a lot of information at you. If you are interested in how brand photography is the bread and butter of my business, I actually have a free training that I broke down basically the 4 behind the scenes systems that run my brand photography business. If you want to see the whole back end of that, how I get clients, how I market myself, how I deliver more than just the photos within the client experience, I will leave the info below in the description. Now, let's talk about weddings, because I know you're asking. I believe weddings are the worst. This is just my personal preference. I really don't like to shoot weddings, but in terms of the 3 criteria, right? Profitability / customer lifetime value, time and energy, and AI risk, it is actually, it's more of an S tier. Well, let's talk about why. So when it comes to customer lifetime value, I feel like weddings is where photographers initially go to and gravitate towards when you first get into business. Everybody thinks, oh, weddings is where the money's at. That's exactly what I thought. And it is true because weddings are a long day. You can work luxury weddings, you can add on albums, you can add on engagement sessions, boudoir sessions. There's just so much extra stuff that you can add on around weddings to enhance the client experience that, yeah, you can make some like big moolah doing weddings. If you also shoot things like family, maternity, newborn, that is a really great way to increase the customer lifetime value of weddings because you can shoot their wedding and then do all of things after that, right? You're basically their lifetime photographer. But now in terms of time and energy, this is where it really didn't work out for me. I assisted maybe 10 weddings, assisted in second shot. These were huge weddings, like 10, 12, sometimes 14-hour days. I did not eat enough. I was very tired. My feet hurt. I felt like I had to rush to go to the bathroom and eat and do all of these things. There's just so much going on and so much stress in weddings that personally it didn't work for me. But anyone who is a wedding photographer, if you love it, I love that for you. You're in such a great place. I personally could never do it. The other side of it, not just thinking about me and how tired I get, it's kind of stressful for your clients too, the couples, because most of the time it's like their first time doing this. It's the first wedding. They don't know what they don't know. Even if it's your 100th wedding, every client, it's still the first wedding. And for me, that's just a lot of energy to expend in explaining how everything works. Not saying that it's the photographer's job to do that. This is where I'm infusing my personal opinion. It just was a lot for me. What if you missed the first kiss? That's always what I'm thinking about. You can't redo it. It's done. You missed it. That is just very stressful to me versus branding. If something needs to be redone, you can redo it. For the third criterion, I should have looked this up. I don't know how to say that word. AI risk. I still don't think at this point in time, we fully know how AI will affect the wedding industry. Obviously with editing, it's a really big thing now, but I don't really see how AI is going to photograph a wedding for us right now. And also, I don't think people want that for the foreseeable future. They want a human person to capture a human story. People want their actual moments documented, captured. And I think especially if you offer print products or you give guidance on that of how to physically showcase your photos, I think you're in a really, really good opportunity. I know I put this in S tier, but because the bonus ranking is like my personal preference, we're just gonna move this down to A because I don't like them. Now let's talk about events, which is a very similar vein to weddings. Events, I think, are going to just keep happening more and more and more as time goes on, as AI goes on. People are going to crave that human connection, which means lots more events. So in terms of customer lifetime value, I think it depends on what type of event you are doing, right? There's corporate events, conferences, but also smaller events, photographing birthday parties, baby showers, that kind of stuff. If you connect with somebody, the potential for the customer lifetime value to be high is high, but you have to be on top of staying top of mind with those potential clients. So for example, if you have a family who likes to do parties, they like to host baby showers, graduation parties, all of these different things, and they're already hiring a photographer, you have to do your job to stay top of mind so that when they have their next party, they are reminded of, oh, yeah, I do want to hire a photographer for that. If you're going to be an event photographer, you need to stay creative in what you're offering. I have a client in my coaching membership where she offers really fun personality portraits at parties while also doing event photos. I think that's a really, really great way to increase the customer lifetime value, right? So they're spending more with you while you are also providing more value in a creative way. Time and energy is, for me, similar to weddings, but maybe a little bit less stressful depending on the event that you're shooting. It's most certainly less emotional most of the time than weddings. Weddings are like, everybody's most important day. The stakes of events are usually not as high as weddings, and the time that you spend shooting the event is also usually not as long as a wedding. So for that, I think I'm going to put this in A as well. Actually, it's more like an in-between, right? Because I love that events are one and done. The potential of events will go up as AI goes up because, like I said, people are going to want to gather more. There are going to be more events. So actually, I'm going to put it at a halfsies. And now we have seniors. And when I say seniors, I mean high school seniors and college grads and graduate students. In terms of total customer lifetime value, it's a little bit lower than these because most of the time people are only going to graduate once. So every year it is your job to find new clients. With seniors, there is a potential to increase the customer lifetime value if you work with groups, which I used to do because I used to do a lot of college grad students, but still every year you are focused on new client acquisition. So as with most things, it does depend on the business model that you were running, but seniors can have a high lifetime value if you are focusing on groups, you're talking about physical products, you're adding on more value, but then you have to spend energy finding new seniors every year. In terms of time and energy, I love them. Senior sessions are generally pretty short, like an hour and a half, sometimes longer depending on what you're doing, but they're generally pretty short and contained, but the schedules are limited. Because you're working with students, they are confined to their school schedule. I found when working with seniors, I would do a lot of very early morning sessions for golden hour and golden hour afternoon sessions as well. Sometimes I do feel that seniors can be very rinse and repeat because with college grads, at least, you are going to the same monument, the same building for most of the students. So it can feel very same, but that also gives you an opportunity to say, okay, how can I get fun new shots? How can I use this building in a different composition? I feel like having creative constraints can make you more creative. In any case, we're not talking about creativity. We're talking about business profit. It's a great niche to be in. Sometimes it can also be hard to break into the market if you are moving to a new place. But once you have a foothold, seniors are great. When it comes to AI risk, I can see some people saying, oh, I'll just, generate an AI picture of me in a cap and gown. Sure, but people want to remember themselves in this moment. So once again, as I said earlier, if you are just a button pusher, you're not really talking about the experience, you're not marketing on the story side of things, then AI is going to take over that kind of role. But as long as you are marketing to the experience, to the documenting of the story, you are going to be fine. So I am going to put seniors probably in an A, just because of having to book new clients over and over again every single year, and breaking into new markets can be a little bit harder than the other niches. Now let's talk about family photography and milestones. So I'm grouping family, maternity, newborn, all into the same category. In terms of customer lifetime value, also a super high potential. Let's say somebody hires you for like a lifestyle newborn session, and then the kid grows. The next year they want to book you for a family session. And even before that, maybe they started with the maternity session. You have the opportunity to be somebody's photographer for life. And I think that is so special. Now, I am not a family photographer. I have done family sessions for my brand photography clients, but this is not my expertise. So in terms of time and energy, I honestly don't really have a good gauge on this because I haven't done it enough. All I know is I do not have the correct toolkit to communicate with kids a lot of the time. I know some amazing, amazing family photographers that are really, really good at managing kids and having them feel at ease and being natural, and I love that for them. I also have noticed that sometimes family sessions can take longer if that's the personality of the family and having the kids get comfortable, or they can be really, really short because kids, they have a timer of 20 minutes and they're like, I'm gonna go be doing something else. So I've seen it go both ways. Now, when it comes to AI risk, I do think families are slightly higher. There's a caveat there though, because if you are a photographer marketing on capturing moments, you're talking about the story behind it. Are you sensing a theme here? You are really talking to the experience and not just the picture. AI cannot replace you. If you are just talking about creating a perfect family portrait, yeah, we're a little bit higher risk. But if you really focus on building a relationship with your family clients, if you're focused on telling the story and you're really highlighting the value of capturing moments in time authentically, I know that's so overused, but real, actual moments and pictures that are not AI generated, that is what people are going to want and crave as time goes on. You just have to be on top of marketing it that way. I have a client in my coaching community and she does in-home storytelling family sessions, which I think is genius because that is what people are going to crave moving forward. People are going to want less and less those perfect posed studio pictures because that's something that they can probably just make in AI and it'll be easier for them. But capturing your everyday story, what you are doing day to day, that I think is going to become really, really huge now and moving forward. Both families and seniors are extremely seasonal. For me, that stresses me out. One way to go around this is to put people on a payment plan or a subscription so that you are getting paid throughout the months and that can help really even out your cash flow. But fall, super, super busy for families. I have seen my family photographer friends at the end of the season. They're just like, where am I? I have so much editing to do. Because of that, I'm going to put it as a B just because it's so seasonal and I don't love that. And I think I am going to now move seniors down just a little bit, not because they are not profitable, but because the seasonality is not what I prefer. Okay, now we're gonna get a little bit feisty. Let's talk about stock photography. So what I mean by this is you take photos that you then sell to stock websites. Now there are a lot of different ways to implement stock photography as a business model. You could, for example, be a photographer on call for a successful stock photography company where they already have people and they commission you to create photos. Or you could take photos on your own and then sell them to these stock photography websites on a license. In terms of profitability and customer lifetime value, it can be really high if you hit a really big deal and somebody licenses your photo in a huge way across the country, across the world, all that good stuff. So the potential is high. When it comes to your time and energy, also high, right? Because you are essentially getting paid to create exactly what you want to, or if you're getting commissioned, they're giving you guidelines on what to create. And it seems to make sense. It seems very relaxed. In terms of AI, I do think this genre, this niche is more at risk than things like families and weddings and people-based things. I also think this is just a harder niche to break into because usually when you submit to the big stock websites, you have to have a portfolio or you have to have like a certain number of images already, or you just have to know somebody. Now, I am not saying stock photography is going to end tomorrow, but based on profitability, the customer lifetime value, that is kind of hit or miss, right? You have to put out a lot of stock photos to have a hit that's going to get you a lot of licensing and royalties versus with these other niches, generating clientele, you have a little bit more control over that. So because of that, I'm going to put stock photography as a C. I'm not saying that you cannot be successful as a stock photographer. I am just saying it's a little bit harder to get into and the competition will probably go up with, AI. Now let's talk about product photography. Some of my biggest clients have been product photography clients, but I am definitely noticing a shift in the industry. I think up until now, in terms of profitability and customer lifetime value, product photography is really up there. Most of my recurring clients, people that pay me month over month for multiple shoots, they are product clients because they are releasing new products. They have seasonal products and seasonal campaigns. There's just a really big opportunity for somebody to want product photography over and over and over again. In terms of time and energy, I think there is a misconception of how long product photography takes to execute well. When I first started doing it, I thought, oh, they're just gonna put on the clothes. We're just gonna get a little flat lay here. Well, that little flat lay takes me like hours to set up and source the props and do the direction. And you have to clean up all the dust. And there's just so much more detail that goes into it that I didn't realize until I started doing product photography. So up until now, customer lifetime value, high, time and energy is like medium. And when it comes to AI risk, definitely high. The reason is because product brands will look at AI and say, oh, that seems like a really easy, low-cost way for us to get product photos. However, people, consumers, do not want AI product photos. And I think right now there is a mismatch. The brands, the product brands think, oh, let's just do this. It's going to be a low cost way to do it. It'll be fine. But consumers are like, no, show me a real freaking picture of what it is that I'm buying. I don't want this AI garbage. I want to see what it actually looks like. So right now, what I am noticing is there is a mismatch, but I think the market is going to correct itself because consumers are so anti-AI product photos. If I'm going to buy a shirt, I don't want to see the shirt on an AI model. I want to see how the shirt lays on a real freaking person. If I'm going to buy a product or food or clothing or literally anything, I want to see what it's actually going to look like. So I think right now we're in a weird time where there is a supply and demand mismatch. So the supply of product photographers is high, the demand for product photographers is low, but on the consumer side, consumers very highly demand real pictures. So I think that's going to even out over time. I am going to put product photography, I think like probably right here in the middle. Again, I am infusing a bit of my personal preference here because I have learned I don't super love styling products that much. But like I have said with everything, you can make a lot of money doing any of these niches, okay? I know some very successful product photographers. And once again, if you are focusing on the experience you are delivering and not just the pictures, all of these can be S tier. I have seen extremely profitable photographers in every single one of these niches. This is just for fun. And now I would like to talk about budget photographers. If your key differentiator is that you are a quote unquote affordable photographer, this is not going to work for you. First of all, it's not profitable because you are literally marketing on, oh, I'm cheap. And I guarantee you, if you call yourself an affordable, cheap photographer, if we were to look at your numbers, I've got a pricing spreadsheet for that. I'll put it in the description. I would bet that you are not charging enough that you need to be to run a profitable business. I'm just saying, based on all of the photographers' pricing that I have looked at, if you call yourself a budget photographer, I say this with so much love, we got to look at your pricing, okay? In terms of time and energy, if you are a budget photographer, that means you have to have lots of clients to make the money that you want. So what's going to happen? We're going to get tired. We're going to get burnt out. And then when we think about AI risk, well, if somebody is looking for the cheapest option, there is a new bottom. The new bottom is AI, and it's very, very cheap to generate a new picture. And for somebody that is looking for a budget option, where are they going to go? Probably there. So if you consider yourself a budget photographer, an affordable option, the cheap option, listen, I have been there. We have all been there. There is another way, any of these ways. But for that reason, the budget is going to go here. I feel like I'm a shark. For that reason, I'm out. And finally, let's talk about the everything photographer or the no niche photographer. Everybody kind of starts out here, unless you're on top of it and you're like, yeah, I want to go into one of these niches right away. I would say most photographers that I know, including myself, we start out as somebody who will photograph anything. As time goes on, this no niche becomes increasingly more and more difficult to market yourself because you are competing with specialists. So in terms of customer lifetime value, I can totally understand how it seems like having no niche would actually increase your profitability, right? Because then, oh, people can come to me and book me for anything. But what that's not factoring in is how are you marketing yourself and how are people perceiving you as a brand? When you have no niche, you are actually lowering your customer lifetime value and your profitability because you cannot charge a premium if you are not specialized in something. Now, I am not saying that you have to pick a niche and only do stuff within that niche forever and ever and ever. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. My niche is brand photography, but I have shot essentially everything here. What I am saying by picking a niche is that is what is at the forefront of your marketing. You lead with branding, with weddings, with whatever it is. If somebody comes to you and wants to do a baby shower, you don't have to say no. I have had that exact situation happen. I've done first birthday parties, I've done maternity, I've done family for my branding clients, but I lead with branding clients. So if you are a no niche photographer, that's okay. Again, we all start out there, but think about what do you like to do? What makes you happiest when you are at a session? What really lights you up? That is a really easy way to figure out what to hone in on if you aren't sure yet. And then in terms of AI, I mean, I feel like I talked about it a lot in this video, but when you have no niche, you're not a specialist, you are kind of in the same realm of the budget photographer. People don't really know how to refer you. They don't know what you do. So for that reason, a no niche photographer goes in the F tier. I just want to say, and I feel like I've talked about it throughout the video, but I want to make it explicitly clear, all of these, except for these bottom ones, all of these can be S tier in terms of profitability. It all depends on your business model, and it depends on how you are marketing yourself, and that you are marketing yourself not just on the photos that you deliver, but also on the experience that you are delivering. When you market on the experience, your competition with AI becomes like very, very low. It is not an issue. I don't even think about it. I don't even care if I'm thinking about booking brand photography clients. I'm not even considering AI because my people come to me for the experience, not just for the photos. The difference between a photography niche being S tier in terms of profitability and F tier is that you are selling the experience and not the commodity of photos. Now, my background is in computer science and software engineering, so if you are a little bit on edge about AI, and I have a whole other video where I break down generally how AI image generation works and why we do not need to be freaked out so long as we are delivering an experience and not a commodity. I will see you in the next video.